I'm here to give you exactly that. High-level professional day trading education, all here for free on YouTube and on X. And tonight, we are going to be discussing a couple of trades that I took. Actually, more than 2 trades, but 2 specific stocks or ETFs in this case. And we're going to be talking about my definition and my reasoning behind me saying that this can be very easy. It's all dependent on you, but we'll get into that discussion here in a minute. Give me 1 sec. I hope you guys had a wonderful day, and I am going to share my charts. Give me 1 second. Let's do this. Okay, folks. So let's go over these trades first before the discussion. So first off, executing on SPY. For those of you that are just joining us here, these blue levels are always our trade plans. At 9 a.m. East, I develop fully loaded trade plans and what happens if it wants to go higher, if it's going like a contingency plan. It's not just the initial execution. It is more than that. Okay, so what happens if it wants to go a little bit higher or a little bit lower than those levels? So on SPY here, just working this multiple times. So coming into the open, once we get right close into the market open, those last few candles give us that distance. It opens up right on top, kind of pops through a little bit, pulls back, pops up. You can barely see it. I understand that. And then pulls that little bit. So what we do in these types of trades, you're going to see an entry here on this chart. The blue is the entry. The red triangle is the exit. It's a very quick entry and payment, getting a feeling for the charts, right? Because basically what you're looking for in this situation is for it to open up, come up into that level, reject, and come into here. So then you can potentially short this down into this lower level. You would pay yourself out completely at that level, and then you can go long for it to come back into a minimum of here. Okay. So it's very simple technical analysis. That's all it is. It's technical analysis 101. That's all this is. There's nothing fancy about this, guys. Okay. So what happened next was it came up, it tested that level again, and we should know that this thing's going to blast through, right? Because it held immediately. It didn't put in a lower low. If it came in and put on a lower low and then popped up, your odds of this coming into that level and rejecting are very high. It didn't do that. What it did do instead was hold. So it's most likely the odds would dictate it's going to push through that level. But on that push through, there is a resistance level right there. And that's where it came into. So as it did that, that's what I'm entering into. So I'm entering into the next resistance level, even though there isn't a blue level that snapped. And then my target now becomes this. And that's exactly what I did. And then I simply wait for the next level of resistance. So as it squeezes up, it came into my starting position of pre-market lows, right into that area. Okay. So, and after hours, there's all of this resistance here. And I'm simply working that squeeze and starting in just very small entry, pay myself, entry, pay myself, entry, pay myself. And that's all this is. These are not big because it didn't, because SPY was actually a little stronger than expected and it didn't fully come into this level, right? Because that's where I really would have wanted to apply pressure. And we'll talk about that here in a minute on Qs. But it didn't come into a price point where I could really apply pressure. These are very small entries. And then I just pay myself out, hence the smaller P&L. So locking in $725 on this. So overall, really, really happy with it. It's just working a trade regardless of P&L. It's not a big trade, but it is very well managed. And I'm simply trading the way that I trade, right? So like I said, locking in $725 on that. So now let's talk about Qs. Qs was really interesting because what we had here was a nice push up into, I should zoom in. Give me 1 sec so then we can all see this a little bit better. Sorry about that, folks. Okay. So on this here, market opens up. We push up into this level. And this one came into pre-market lows, right? That's where I wanted to start in. And that's where I started. So as it pulls back, I pay myself. When it pops back up, I enter again. Okay. Now you can see it ended up coming up. But what you don't know watching this YouTube video is the trade plan that is surrounding this. So I'll give you the full trade plan and where every level that if it came up into without a pullback, we were going to add into. So that there was pre-market lows. This snapped blue level is this day on the daily chart, right? I'm pointing over here, right there. That is the first level of resistance on the way up. This here is going to be yesterday's previous close, followed by trend. Do you see how much protection is there? Like going through all of those price points for it to come straight up and keep going and blast through 4 levels of resistance like that are next to impossible without some sort of a pullback. Okay. So on that trade, I'm simply entering. I paid myself, which I will always do in that situation. And then once it comes up, I just continue to work it. There's no pullback. So I add and I add. Those are all of my adds. You can see right on my entry chart. Nice and patient on the sell back down into that support. Strip all of my size off. And then as it kind of pops up, just patient with it, starts pulling back. I lock in more profit, lock in more profit. Finally, I just ended up stopping out. And that was it. Absolutely fantastic. So locking in $3,490 on that. So I was actually up quite a bit more, but I wanted to give this some time. But then it just finally started coming back up, and it became no longer necessary to really hold that as it was chewing back that P&L. So it's like, what's the point? You know what I mean? So now let's have a quick little discussion here before we wrap this about why I call this easy. And I've been saying this for the last, 8, 9 years on social media, running YouTube and my service and everything else. And from time to time when I say it, and I bet you there'll be a comment underneath this video because of the description, as well as the title, as well as the thumbnail. People hate that word easy. Listen, everything that we choose to do in life, no matter what it is, and even day trading, right? Everybody tells you how hard it is. It's only hard because of the decisions that we make. Okay. We make this as hard or as easy on ourselves. That's it. The reason why, and I had a discussion with a friend of mine last night about this and just my whole thought on this being easy. I consider this very easy because of the decisions I make. The decisions that I make on a daily basis, this is why you see the consistency that I have. I will never fucking deviate from doing the right thing. Trading in the utmost of professional capacities on a daily basis, no matter what. I never deviate from that. And if I happen to slightly deviate from that, I will always smack myself right back down. Immediately, I catch myself. Why? So it's all how we contextualize these thoughts to ourselves. Okay. And it's how we word things so that it makes sense to us. So years and years and years ago, I had a conversation with myself. Now, I blew up 2 accounts at the beginning of my trading career. Okay. Followed by my 3rd account, which was like, that's all the money that I had. I wired in my last $5,000 and I whittled it back about 50%. It was about $2,600 left. That's all I had. That's like all the money I had. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that talk about being broke and they still have access to like savings accounts and shit like that. I didn't have that. I was fucked. Like fucked. If I didn't get my shit together, I was fucked. And one of the things that I talked about in a conversation that I had to myself, I call it the come to Jesus speech. And no, I didn't find God. And it's not about finding religion. It's a joke. But anyways, some people get that twisted. I told myself, if I don't do the right thing, I'm not just letting myself down, I'm letting my family down, right? So for me, if I don't make the right fucking decision day in and day out and do the right thing, my fucking family will starve. Now, when you put it like that, it's a very easy decision to make day in and day out, to do the right thing, to be disciplined, to be patient, to wait and only execute upon strategy, not some bullshit bias or feeling or thought, to hold my ground until my risk strategy breaks, doing the right thing. And that's all this comes down to, guys. All of this is a choice. For people, and I'm sure there are a lot of you that are struggling as day traders, and maybe you're very new and you're struggling simply because you just don't have the ground under your feet yet and you just don't quite understand. You just don't have that experience yet. But there's a lot of you that are probably watching this that have been doing this shit for years and you still can't get your shit together. It's because you choose to be weak. Now, I said it like that for a reason, because that probably just triggered an emotional response. And you probably just got a little pissed off with me calling you out on that. That's what it is, though. You're choosing to be weak in moments where you need strength, period. You're choosing the easy way. You're choosing the donut over the salad. That's what you're fucking doing. You're choosing to chase these stocks, right? Because it's green and you're going to chase it up. So it's easier in your mind. And it's not, it's bullshit. Or you do something completely wrong and then you get rewarded. You fucking know you did it wrong, but you still give yourself a goddamn pat on the back. You're choosing to be weak in a moment that you really need that strength. You need to tell yourself you fucked up. You did things wrong, even though you got rewarded with a massive P&L. Do you have any idea how many times through the fucking years I've seen traders post their charts on an absolute bullshit trade where they happen to get lucky and all they talk about is the 50, 60, 80, 100,000 million dollars they made on a trade? And me looking at that chart, I would never accept that. I've talked about a trade that I took actually in the room in 2017, right at the beginning of Tricktrades. And it was a revenge trade. And it was one of my biggest trades to date at that time. And I made $60,000. And I believe it was on a short on SIG. I took a loss at the beginning on a bullshit trade. And then it just came up. It was not based off of strategy. It was a straight up revenge trade. I executed it. I made all my money back plus an additional 50 years, no, $60,000 on that. And at first I was like, fuck yeah. And then immediately, no longer than 20 seconds after, as soon as I did that, I called myself out live on screen share. And I was upset. Now there's some members that got it, some members didn't. The members that focus on money, they were, how can you be upset with making $60,000? Because that could have been an additional loss. That could have been a real fucking problem. Easily. And guess what? I would have let my family down. So for me, it is not hard. None of this is hard. This is fucking easy for me. Why? Because if I choose weak, if I choose to be weak in any moment during the day, my family will starve. That's why this is easy. It's not hard to do the right thing. You just have to want to do the right thing. But that shit's up to you. It's not up to me. People ask me all the time. They ask me all the time. They'll say things like before they join the service, how long until I'm consistent? And I understand why they're asking that. But like it always makes me fucking laugh, like roar out loud. Why? Because how the fuck do I know? What do I know what you're capable of? I know what my strategy can produce. Can you fucking listen? Can you be fucking coachable? Can you do the right thing? Probably not. Probably not at the beginning. You're probably going to fight me. You're not going to trust me. You're going to do your own thing. You're not going to fucking listen. So guess what? It'll fucking take you forever to be consistent like that. Right? So when people ask me how long until I become consistent with your strategy, it's like it can happen fast, but like, I don't know. That's up to you. That's not up to me. I've been posting these trades day in and day out for fucking years. Years. I'd be outed by now if it was bullshit or it didn't work. So the strategy works. That shit's up to you. If you join my service and you listen and you're coachable, you're gonna fucking crush it. You're gonna crush it. You're gonna have more time and more money than you ever know what to do with. But that's up to you. That's not up to me. I'm doing that. I know how to do the right thing. How have you contextualized that thought to do the right thing in your mind? These are things you need to think about as a trader. Everybody always asks me, they're like, shut the fuck up and give me a strategy. Give me your strategy. Give me your strategy. I can give you my strategy. Day in and day out, I do it on the recaps. It's not the strategy that matters. Sure, you still need a proper strategy, a legitimate strategy, yeah, but there's way more to it than that. It's all up here. That's where my coaching comes in because that's what I focus on. I'm going to give you my entry strategy, my risk strategy, my management strategy, my sizing strategy. Ask anyone else out there. They'll just say an entry strategy. They'll tell you how to get in and they'll maybe give you a stop out strategy, but it's not even a strategy, nor would they call it that. They'll tell you how to stop out, but it's not a strategy. These all take every aspect of trading requires a legitimate strategy. But again, the shit's up to you. So if you do want to come and do this and work with a coach that can get you there, come to tricktrades.com. If not, you want to continue to spin your wheels and watch free shit on YouTube. Hey man, that's why I've got over 1,000 videos on YouTube for you. For the ones that just want to consistently spin their fucking wheels year in, year out until they ultimately blow up and fade away. But it's here, and you do have to like the videos and you do have to subscribe. I think that's only fair. But for the real motherfuckers out there that want to get their shit together, come to tricktrades.com. It's up to you guys, folks. I'm already living my life, and that's what I want for you, but it's up to you. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Maybe I kicked you in the ass enough to hopefully light a fire and get cracking. But again, it's up to you. Have a good night, folks. Adios.